A lot of people want to know what's the best way to aim train for Valorant. I've aim coached Valorant pros, people who've hit rank 1 Radiant, and a bunch of other people, so I've answered this question a ton of times. It usually boils down to what do you struggle with in game and how do we fix that specific issue, which is a bad answer for a video. So instead, I'm going to move pretty quickly through a bunch of different issues, how to know if you have it and how to train it. The first issue you'll see is people who are bad at micro adjustments. You know you have this because you'll be very close to someone's head and then you'll just feel stuck. Like in your hand, it'll feel like I know where I need to go, but I just can't do it. If you struggle with this, I'd recommend some small scenarios in clicking, like raw mouse control click in 3, but also some small precise tracking scenarios like extra control sphere 1, because I feel a bigger part of micro adjustments is just getting the level of precise control over your hand that you need, and the actual proper flicking technique is a much smaller part. This video was made possible by today's sponsor, Power Color. They gave me a copy of the Alphin AM10 mouse to try out, and if they didn't, I wouldn't have made this video for you guys. The mouse has optical switches for clicking, which is really cool and it feels great. It's my first time trying them, and they feel really nice. It's got a nice RGB touch, which makes my undecorated setup at least have a little bit of light, and weirdly enough, it can do 1000 Hz wireless and 8K wired, so that's a cool feature too. Check it out in the description. There's also people who think they struggle with micro adjustments, but they actually don't. In this case, you probably struggle with stopping power. The inability to stop your flicks, so it looks like you're shaking at the start of the micro, but it's actually shaking at the end of the flick. To test which one you have, see if in raw mouse control clicking 3 or Pokeball wide wall 3 targets, which one makes your aim feel shakier. If it's the wide one, you need to work on stopping power. To do this, use wide wall scenarios like Pokeball scenarios that focus heavily on flicking fast and kind of forcing you to have a lot of velocity to stop your flick, and try to not shake at the end of the flick. A completely different issue you might have is target reading. If you feel yourself getting lost, losing track of where your crosshairs, where the enemies are, etc., you probably at least struggle a bit with target reading. A good way to fix this is using a scenario like Close Fast Strafe's Invincible and focusing on how the bot moves. Try to be steady and just not lose track of the bot, and this should improve your target reading along with a bunch of other skills. You may also think you struggle with target reading, but you actually struggle with just panicking. You flick your mouse around randomly whenever you see someone and basically spray and pray with a lot of fast movements, so you're moving mouse really fast. All of a sudden you don't know what's on your screen because you're switching your screen up so fast. The best way to fix this is just to stop doing it. It's not a technical issue that needs to be trained. Just don't do it. If you stop panicking, chances are you'll develop a related issue where you're just really bad at hitting moving targets. In this case, use some tracking scenarios like Close Fast Strafe's Invincible Easy and Centering 1 to develop a base for your tracking, your ability to hit moving targets, your reading, and all those things. And then use dynamic clicking scenarios to port over those control abilities into hitting moving targets, and a good scenario for this is like pure G horizontal clicking Valorant. On an unrelated note, if you struggle with basic control of your flicks, they're inaccurate, they're unstable, whatever, but not something super specific, use a scenario like 1 while 6 targets small to learn the fundamentals of flicking. Usually this is common to players who are new or players who learn bad habits early on, but anyone and everyone can struggle and benefit from basic flick training. If you struggle with reacting to being peeked, like someone peeks and then you die, play reflex scenarios like reflex flick. Make sure the scenario is hard enough that you don't need a very high accuracy, instead you kind of struggle, and also accept that there's going to be a lot of points where the person who peeked you just had a better position and that was an unwinnable gunfight, so don't be too hard on yourself for this one. If you find yourself getting kind of shaky when you're trying to track a wall, play a smooth tracking scenario like Centering 1. If you find your grip on your mouse getting too tight, treat the mouse like a very fragile egg. Consider temporarily binding shoot to the keyboard while in the aim trainer, and play a scenario that mimics the situation in game when you would be tense while trying to remove the tension. If you struggle with moving and shooting, play a scenario that has Valorant movement frictions like boon strafe scenarios. Try to work on moving your mouse the opposite and same direction as your movement to better improve aiming. If you find you're really good at a skill in an aim trainer but you can't apply it in game, spam death matches focusing only on applying the skill from the aim trainer to shooting a person in game. This issue is usually caused by developing a separate technique for in-game that's usually a bad habit, and it can be fixed by correcting the bad habit with the technique you have in the aim trainer. If you're confused, you want some handmade advice, I do still offer coaching. I'm not going to sell you on it. If you want it, you want it. You can DM me on Discord, join my Discord server, and then find my Discord from there. It's at West Prodder. No big deal either way. I have plenty of free resources also that are publicly available, so subscribe and watch those. I got a few more videos that were sponsored, so yeah.